it's the resistance that causes the most energy against something and it perpetuates it. It keeps it going. So if we've got something that's, it was like if we're feeling really sad, we can feel really sad, and it's important to feel all the different emotions. That's a really important part of being a human being. Though what happens is we tend to, when we've felt sad, we tend to then create a story around that sadness. So, it could be a victim mentality. Why has this happened to me? Or it could be something that you've experienced. And what happens is that you tend to keep rerunning that over and over and over and over and again. So that feeling you keep charging it. It's almost like if you imagine like an emotion is like an oil burner, like an oil lamp. And when it's run its charge. But if you keep filling up the oil burner with the story behind it, like, poor me, why has this happened? Or it could be, that person feels this, we tend to think about what other people feel. And when we have no idea what they feel, but we tend to create a story around it. So we keep just filling up the oil burner and filling up the oil burner. And that keeps the feeling going. You can see this with children. They're the best at dealing with all kinds of emotions. If you look at a 3 or 4-year-old having a tantrum, it's the best because they are fully in that emotion. They're fully experiencing. They're feeling it in every cell of their being. And then they're like, oh, boat. And then they're like completely onto the new thing. And then they completely let go of what they were feeling. And then they allow themselves to feel something else. Whereas we tend to, as adults, we tend to have that resistance to something. I don't want to be feeling this. But what we're not realizing that as we're saying, I don't want to be feeling this, we're feeling it more and we're feeding it over and over again. And we're giving it more and more fuel so that it keeps going rather than actually, I'm feeling this fully. I'm fully in this. Okay. It's kind of subsided now. Okay. I'm good. Now what can I do to change my state? And this is a really powerful thing we can do because we're beings of frequency. We can change our frequency. And we all know how it feels if we go, maybe we dance, how we feel different afterwards. Or we breathe in a certain way. We deep breathe, how we feel different. Or if we've gone, one of the things I love doing is I love being by trees. I love being in nature. And as soon as I'm with trees, as soon as I'm near nature, suddenly something shifts inside my body. So at that moment when that energy has subsided, that sadness has subsided, what we can do is like, okay, what can I do in this moment to make myself feel better? And what we tend to do as society is we've kind of got used to the idea of misery being normal and people being sad being normal, people complaining, people being unhappy being normal. Though what I remember there was one of my clients said that some friends to her, they said to her, what's wrong with you? You're so happy. Like, what's wrong with you? You're so happy. Like, how backwards have we got the way that we think of life, that it's more normal to be suffering than it is to be happy? Often people think that they can only be happy at the weekend, through taking some kind of substance or drinking or something. That is where they become happy. Like, that's just wrong. We've got it inside out. The consciousness, the collective consciousness that we're living in has got it that it is normal to be miserable, to be upset. It's like life is a struggle and then you die. But as well as that's a saying, that's an actual saying. Life is a struggle and then you die. Like, who made up these shitty mantras? I'm sorry, but that's just a really rubbish mantra. If you keep saying something long enough, it becomes a belief. So let's shift this around. Let's change this. Because there's as much happiness, joy, freedom, fun is in our, we have the potential for as much as that as we have anything else. And when we consciously decide to shift our own state, to give ourselves more happiness and more joy and more freedom, guess what happens in your life? You get more joy, happiness and freedom. And the more that you allow yourself go into that, the more freedom that you give yourself, the more happiness that you allow yourself to feel. So when you laugh, this is going to be your little thing for this week. When you laugh this week, I want you to full belly laugh. Go for it. Okay. When you're with your friends and you're having a good moment, I want you to be there and like savor it, like suck it up. Like, oh my God, I'm having the most amazing time. Start to give that some juice. When you're having a nice time at work, it could be like 5 minutes you're having at work. I'm going to invite you to give that some juice. Like, start to put energy into the good feelings, because we have a good feeling and we're like, oh yeah, anyway, let's get back to my life. I want you to start to really invite into your system the frequency of joy, happiness, freedom, because it exists. It exists, and it is. And I tell you something, when you start to live your life in this frequency, my God, life is amazing. It is so amazing. And what you get to do is then you get to experience a small amount of the suffering and the other, pain, because they're still here. We're in duality. As long as we're on earth, right now, actually, it's changing. I'll tell you about that later. It is changing. It's shifting. We're moving into a higher frequency. So it will change over the next 5 to 10 years. So right now, as we're in a carbon state, we're in three dimensions. We are experiencing both. Okay. So I still feel shadow. I still have times when I'm sad. I still have times when, something happens in my life that's a crisis. Though what happens is that is a really small part. And most of my life is lived from a place of joy and happiness and freedom, because we are human beings. We have the capacity within our system to live a life of happiness, joy, like real joy. Like I wake up every day happy, I've trained myself to do that because society has trained us from a very young age to be miserable, to be depressed, to talk about all the things that we want to complain about, to say about all the things that are going wrong in our life. You listen to your friends this week and see how many people are complaining. You start to be aware of how many times you're saying in your life how bad the things are going. Just listen. And it's not your fault. We've done it as a consciousness, collective consciousness. We've all done this. We've set up this system in our society where it's normal. Okay. So let's start a revolution. Let's change things. Let's move this so that we can start to be happy. My God, we're living in the most incredible, miraculous, amazing world. And yes, there are things that are happening that are bad, but there are also so many things that are happening that's good. There are so many miracles in this world that we're not told about that are happening every single day. Miracles happen every single day. Every single day. Okay. So let's start to shift this. Let's start to actually understand that we have the capacity to be happy, to be free. And we can do this one thought at a time, one moment at a time. So this week, I think I've given you a couple of things to do. But start to witness what's happening around you. So really, when you're having a good moment, go into it fully embrace it. Every part of you, like your full body, right? And then when and notice how much misery is around you, what people are saying, start to notice, because it's just a habit. It's a habit, and it's a habit that we need to break. It's a habit that humans need to break. So let's start breaking it. And you can start breaking it one thought at a time. Every time you become aware of a thought that is in some way disempowering you, or weakening you, or making you feel like your life is not good enough, literally change that thought. Do the opposite. Think to yourself the opposite, and then put that on repeat a few times. There was a point where I used to say, I can't do it. I can't cope. I can't manage. I was really overwhelmed all the time. I used to have a lot of panic attacks. Can't do it. I can't cope. I can't manage. And at that point, what I started to say to myself is, I can do it. That's it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I walked up and down the stairs. I can do it. 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 You know what? It made me feel better. Just I can do it made me feel like there was some sort of hope inside my system. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do, is just start to give your system hope. Even if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. The frequency of those words will change. If you say it to yourself right now, whatever you're experiencing, if you can say, I can do it to yourself 20 times, feel how you feel after you've said that to yourself. Notice what's happened in your body. Okay. We need to start being aware of the frequency that we're putting in our body through our words. And we need to start raising that frequency so that we can feel happy and we can feel joyous and we can look around us and be like, wow, this is a miracle. I'm so happy to be alive. Thank you so much for joining. It's been amazing to have you here. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. And remember to like, share, and subscribe.